concept will be taken around the world, where hundreds of thousands of people
Hello
will be
people,
amazed.
how are you? My new friends, my new followers. Hello. I'm so happy that you actually found me on your YouTube channel because I am a transgender and I have transitioned since 2016, 17, and until now I'm still, working my way around. That's my cat Ming. He's saying hello. And this video, what we want to speak today about is jobs, work. Because I've gotten a lot of feedbacks of people telling me that what kind of work have I done in the past because they are having trouble finding work as a transgender. So they asked me what kind of work I've done, and in my past 36 years of experience of doing mechanical work and mechanical engineer, junior mechanical engineering, I've developed a lot of potential doing work as far as going from mechanical work like pipe fitting, maintenance, because that's basically what I focus myself on. Maintenance, I do, hey, you want to be in a picture? There you go. His name is Ming. I've done pipe fitting, welding, soldering, a little bit of electrical, two-phase, three-phase, and so on. So basically, a lot of people want me to explain how do they basically get not booted from what the job they used to do before to what they're actually looking for. I know it's very hard as a transgender to try to go into either a mechanical field or the job that they used to do before transitioning. That's also like a very big thing because if you used to do before manly stuff, you might be able to get away with it a little bit, not too much, not giving too much detail, but just saying yes, I know how to do that kind of job. I've done it before. I was trained. Because someone was out and they trained me how to do that, and that's what I know how to do. How I was able to actually blend myself in, well, it wasn't that easy. I had to tell them a small little white lie. Once they said that, I was able to go in right in. I will not say that to you guys, but you use like your own judgments. You've worked, with engineers, you work with mechanics, and they are the ones that showed you how to do the work. Me, it just came natural because working 36, as a mechanical junior engineer. No, I'm not certified, but they classify me as a junior. So I've just been doing this for so many years. Um, so then again, it's just me. But I've worked on this, and I focus. So when they ask me, from my past history, I just tell them that's what I basically know how to do. I mean, I do know how to do, clerical work. I know how to do Excel, Windows, all the kind of stuff that women do. But it's just something that I chosen to do basically because I love to work with my hands. I've worked as if I can dig up a little bit. I have worked. I have. Let me set this up straight so I can add some pictures into it. I have done work on my hands. I being certified as emergency medical technician, so EMTD. I worked in the ambulance. I worked with patients. I worked actually in the MVA motor vehicle accidents out in the field. So my shift before was from 5 at night to 12 o'clock at night, 12 in the morning. So on the weekends you do see a lot of accidents, of course, people, drunken, fighting and accidents and things like that. So, you're able to see a lot of blood and stuff like that out in the field. Highways, working with Blue Star, helicopters and all that, being transporting people, trauma patients a lot, burn units and things like that. So I've worked with a lot of those things, my hands. I worked also in ER and ICU, CCU, ICU. I don't know if I said them right. When I was first volunteering, I started off in a hospital. and then I worked my way up, and then I was working in a storeroom in a hospital, and then I bumped into a couple of nurses, and they told me, I think your potential is like far beyond, and you could do something. So that's how I started taking the test, doing the assistant paramedic and doing MTD. And then from there, I want to work more with my hands. At the side job that I had working as a mechanic, I like more mechanics because I can configure things out and I can do more things with my hands. And then again, doing database, scanning, products, all that stuff. So it just comes with the flow, it comes with your background, and it comes with the potentials that you have as well. You just have to give it your all, and when you're doing job hunting, just don't lie. you know don't lie in your application because it's always going to catch up to you regardless. I have like three different resumes. So my first resume is for the medical technician work, database work that I've done. The other resume that I do have is for packaging because I used to do a lot of selecting and warehouse. I used to, work in a warehouse. I used to select cases in Fine Fair Warehouse, ShopRite, Alliance, Craft. But I found that that wasn't for me because I've noticed that I was getting weaker, my body was changing, and I noticed a lot of those changes. I said, that's not for me. But I do have a lot of experience in doing that. You can also work as well in ShopRite, in these ShopRite, in Walmart, blocking, putting cases away, things like that. Because there's a lot of females doing that as well. So you kind of blend right in Target, just looking for stocking, things like that. It's not mainly work, but it's work that you actually can do, to try to buy past that. But me, I've done a lot of mechanical work all through all my years. So that's why you see most of my videos I've done before, was like gym lifting, pumping iron, things like that, because that's what I do, basically pretty much. Because where I work at as a mechanic, I lift sometimes motors, small little motors, but they become big as well. So there's chain blocks and come-alongs, so I use that as well. But just to stay fit, I still do lifting, that kind of stuff. But moving forward, you do not want to lie in the application. Just tell them that what you used to do, and you're willing to try something new here if it's available, and you blend right in. When I was working as a mechanic in this new job that I applied for, I took the test. I took the welding test. I did the mechanical test. I passed it, and I'm actually the first female mechanic in the facility, in the job place. I almost said the name of the company, but in the job where I work at is 80% females and 20% male. So I work now in rotation shifts sometimes, and I'm able to work with the guys, and they show me the tricks of the trade. There's some guys working there maybe 40 years, 50 years, etc. And now I'm learning different machinery. Where I was working at before, which I will not say the name of the company, but it was actually a sugar company. And the sugar company, it was so fantastic, so phenomenal. That's the first company where I actually worked, and I developed so much skills working with welders, working with electricians, working with just pure mechanics. I mean, mechanic that actually knew mechanical work, being strategic with pieces. You have to be specific with, the dynamics is like so phenomenal. With a lot of Asian guys, I've never forget this guy I work with. I guess I can say his name. He's actually one of my closest, one of my besties there that I've worked with, that I learned so much. He's from Vietnam. He's Vietnamese. I'll just say it like that. He's Vietnamese, not to say his name to be, to cover. And I've learned so much. He is like, wow, a master of art, of mechanical work. And when I had trouble, he'll tell me this is what you have to do, from A to Z. And when he went up for shift, I had problems, and I picked it up and I learned it. So in this company, is actually where I actually grew more knowledge, and where I was able to develop being a transgender, working in the company, and slowly. So I was actually the only female actually transgender also in that company. But things happen, and you have to move on. You know, um, But in this company, I've worked with a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of heavy equipment, I'm telling you. And I had to use like chain blocks to move machines because I couldn't, remember, you're transitioning, so you cannot do heavy work, being a female. So these machines are centrifugal machines, and these machines go about 325 miles an hour. So if any of these pieces fall from the funnel when they're going high speed, they will break, dismantle, and bend the forks. The forks are the ones that lift up a funnel in the bottom, where after the sugar goes around in the basket, there's a scoop, and the scoop scoops the sugar as it's going all the way down, and it's going all the way down. It takes the sugar down. So at the amount of speed that that machine has, it will bend the forks, it will bend the manifold, it will bend and destroy anything in that basket. As well as a screen. So these are things that I had to do myself. I had when I was working there in my night shift, I didn't have any help. I was the only mechanic. There's one mechanic per shift, and I had to use chain blocks. So I don't have to use my my strength at the time. I wasn't that big, but working with machines, I had to start lifting a little bit of weight. So I got my own weight up, and I used chain blocks. So that was able to help me to lift the bad parts from the machines. And then again, I was on my own, so I had no help, and they found it kind of odd for me to be doing that on my own. So knowing that I was transgender, and I was like, wait a minute, why is a female doing this kind of work? Well, because I knew how to do the work. So moving on, uh, you know, they thought that was a good idea for me to stay working in day shift, where I can get more help if anything happens, and they could work with me. So that's basically how it happened. So I worked in day shift. I stood in the day shift, and I was doing a little bit light work, not as I used to, because they see me transitioning. So they kind of found that kind of like stunning, like wow, like how did this happen? And just I had no choice. So this is the kind of work that you like. Well, if you like something, you go for it. You go full force. Don't let nobody stop you. But then again, when you apply for these jobs, just tell them what you know how to do, and you're willing to try, because this is kind of something that you've done in the past, but you don't want to tell them, exactly. Honestly, you want to tell them, listen, hi, I'm transgender and things like that. And I found out that a lot of times that when you tell them that you're transgender, it's like a red flag. I'll be very honest. So it happened to me twice when I applied at work for work, and I didn't like that. So when I didn't tell them, I got accepted immediately. Big difference, huh? Big difference. So by you not telling them, but it's a giveaway. It's up to you. So you gotta play your cards. You gotta know what you're doing, and you have to know how to manipulate when you're talking to them. Always look at them straight in the eye. A lot of eye contact. Not too much makeup, not too much perfume. At my job, I don't wear the mask. I'm sorry. At my job, I wear the mask all the time. So usually when you're going for your interview, they're not able basically to see the whole face. So me working there at this job right now, up to today's date, I can swear to God, I swear they have not seen my full face at all. You're talking about a good couple of 2-3 years now. And the only one that did see my face was actually my supervisor, because we went on a trip so I can learn. It was a training that I had to do in Minnesota. So when we went over there, we had to go eat dinner with the rest of the bosses and the CEO, and buying the machines, etc., etc. And we had to take off your mask. We had to go and eat. So my boss seen my face for the first time. I was like, "Wow, is this how you look? Wow, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't like to take off my mask, because of the COVID and all that stuff." He goes, no, you can should take it off. You should take it off. You're gorgeous. I'm like, okay, thank you, but I, to this day, I still persist. I don't want to take it off because you never know. It may come back. It might come back. It may not come back. So then again, it's just me being very protective. But anyway, like I said, so when you go for your interviews, be very honest, be very straightforward. Don't hide anything. But I keep away the transgender thing. Let them find out on their own. Just do as you can. Be very strategic. Be very sharp. Open your ears. Pay attention. Write down a lot of information. And just do what you feel from the heart, basically. Because I love mechanics, and and then again, I'm gonna do a part 2 of this. Because I feel that it's gonna help a lot of people out there in society. So I will be posting and doing a lot of videos, putting things on from my past jobs, so you have to see the kind of work that I used to do, so you can see it wasn't that Mickey Mouse stuff. And then again, so the worker know, I used to work in a sugar company, and it was not that easy for me. And the kind of work that you do there, you're talking about bull work, straightforward, hard work, picking up shaft, welding, wearing your PPE, your gloves, your face shield, everything. But working, straight work. And you're working with a lot of dynamic people that know the engineering and will guide you and things like that. So it's phenomenal. But if there's another job that you do know how to do, and it's kind of manly stuff, just say, listen, I know how to do this, I'm applying for this position, and give me a chance, I can prove you wrong. I know how to do the job, just give me a chance, and etc. And you put it down in the application. It wouldn't hurt. But then again, keep away the transgender thing. I'm being very honest because it was 2 companies that I went, and the first thing that I had said to them was transgender, etc, etc, etc. And it didn't take too long for them to say, what, the position is filled up, but we'll keep your application in handy, thank you. Just like that. So I knew right away, like, shit. Can't use that. No. That's what you want to say, like, oh yes, look at me, I look at this, but look at my face, wow, look at the changes, oh my god, I'm a transgender. Let me tell you something. You gotta pull that cool to the back. You gotta relax, okay? Yes, okay, we understand you're transgender, but you do not need to let the whole world that you are transgender. I'll be very honest. Do your work, look for your jobs and all that. Do it professionally. I'll be very honest. I'm being very open. As much open as I can. I can't be open as this. They are going to recognize you regardless. If it's not now, it's later. But they're going to know who you are, because sometimes something from you is always going to slip away. You're going to either do a post, you're going to do a text or whatever, but you always have to cover your tracks no matter what you do. Always. And I'm being very honest. I do it. I do it. And it's just the way it has to be done. Because you want to protect... Hey, don't do that. You want to protect your identity. You want to protect from being stalked. And you want to protect from being murdered. Be very honest. Still got to cover yourself. Still got to protect your identity, things like that. You don't know who's going to stalk you. You don't know who's going to do something to you. You just never know. So that's why I always protect my identity. Always. And I'm always, I always have something with me just in case something happens to me. I got pepper spray and things like that, no matter what. Because you always want to go with your bag, you want to hold it tight, and you don't know who's going to be in back of you when you put in those keys in the car, things like that. So you always want to protect yourself. And I'm being very honest. So, leave that to the back. Go for the application. Write what you need to write down. Write your skills. Any skills, but write it. It doesn't matter. Don't be afraid. Just do it. Okay? So, we'll come back later for part 2. Okay? So, I see you girls later. God bless you. And I hope that this will be helpful. Like I said, I'm speaking from the heart, straight up for you girls, and I'm going to help you, get that job that you guys need up there, because I know it's not easy, being trans and trying to find a job, and you don't want to be behind a clerical office working, things like that, and doing typing. You want to do something more than that, besides being a sales and a rep and a sales girl working in these beauty stores and all that stuff. You want to move around, you want to be known, okay? I love you girls.